What is the worst case of entitlement you have ever seen? My freshman year of college, I got paired with a roommate named Caroline. She was one of the sweetest people I had ever met, but she had grown up in a world so far removed from reality that it was almost comical. Her family was extremely wealthy, and she had no real understanding of how day-to-day life actually worked. At first, it wasn't obvious. She decorated her side of the dorm with matching monogrammed everything, while I had posters taped up and a comforter from Target. She always looked polished, like she'd stepped out of a catalog. But once we started living together, the little things began to show. The first time was over bottled water. Caroline came back from class looking a little flustered and asked me, "Where do you buy bottled water?" I thought she meant on campus, so I said, "There's a vending machine downstairs," but she shook her head. "No, like for the room. Do we order it?" That was when it clicked. She had never been grocery shopping before in her life. Another time, about a month into the semester, she looked down at her bed and sighed. "I think my sheets need to be changed. Do we call someone for that?" I nearly choked. "Caroline, it's October. We moved in August. You haven't changed your sheets yet?" She blinked at me, dead serious. "I thought they did that for us." She thought we had a maid for the dorms. The look on her face when she realized she had to strip her own bed and wash the sheets was priceless. It wasn't malicious entitlement, just cluelessness. She genuinely didn't know any different. She thought things just happened, because at home, they always had. The funniest moment came when she asked me to go with her to the ATM. She said she needed cash for something and had never used one before. We walked over together and she slid her card in with me standing next to her. She punched a few buttons and then froze when the machine declined her $300 withdrawal. She turned to me, wide-eyed, her voice small. "Am I poor?" I didn't know whether to laugh or hug her. She looked genuinely heartbroken, like the ground had fallen out from under her. I asked her why she thought she'd just have $300 sitting there, and she explained that she thought her family had one giant account everyone could use. She'd always had a credit card, and it had never been declined, so she assumed money was just endless. The concept of her personal account being separate was brand new to her. That night, I sat with her and explained how banks and accounts actually worked. We pulled up her online banking for the first time and she started to get it. It wasn't a scolding. It was like teaching a little sister how the world worked. She kept saying, "I had no idea," and she really meant it. Over time, she started learning. The first time she bought her own groceries, she came back proud, holding up a pack of ramen like she'd discovered buried treasure. She complained about how heavy laundry was, but started doing it without prompting. She figured out how to budget for coffee instead of swiping her card endlessly, and then panicking when her account ran low. There were still moments. She once asked if the cafeteria had staff meals like her dad's office did, meaning food prepped just for employees. Another time, she was baffled that students cleaned the communal bathrooms in the dorm over breaks, but each time, instead of digging her heels in, she actually listened, laughed at herself, and tried to adjust. By the end of the year, Caroline was a completely different roommate. She wasn't perfect. She was still a little spoiled, still loved her name brand everything, but she had become self-aware. She'd joke about how she used to think maids were hiding in the walls of our dorm, and she'd thank me for not making fun of her too hard. On move-out day, she left me a handwritten note. She thanked me for being patient, for teaching her things she never knew, and for not treating her like she was stupid. She said she felt like she'd grown up that year more than she had in all of high school. I kept the note. Caroline started as the most entitled person I'd ever lived with, but she didn't stay that way. She actually changed. And honestly, she ended up being one of the best roommates I could have asked for.